This task could appear on both higher and foundation paper. Now, you will get a choice of tasks. You should do the one that you think will be easiest for you to apply your knowledge to. This one's a class trip. So, again, a vocabulary that you will have used lots of times. It's probably going to be suitable, but you should have a read through it first. And this one wants to know something. It's an informal, so it uses do. And they want to know what your last class trip was like, okay? You have to include the following points. Wohin, so wo is the clue, where you went. We know this is past tense. How you found it. So past tense, past. This one is past as well. This one is why they are fun, okay? Now remember to use this vocabulary in your answer, okay? Klassenfahrten machen Spaß because that one is present, and this one at the end is plans for your next one. So this is future. So you have got 3 tenses in this task. You should aim to write about 80 to 90 words. Therefore, you're aiming for about 22 or 23 words approximately per bullet point. So informal task, 20 to 25 per bullet point, and watching that you get the tenses right. By all means, use some of the vocabulary from the task if you need to. So by way of an introduction, because you're on a slightly more difficult task if you're foundation, and if you're higher, you'll be sort of more attuned to this anyway, you shouldn't just launch into a letter, you should have an introduction. So you probably want to say, last year I went on a class trip. You can include in that sentence, if you need to, where you went. So I'm going to start off then with last year or last summer. Oh, that's rather a thick pen. Let's try this one. So, last summer, letzten Sommer, I went on a class trip. Now, you make a class trip, you don't go on a class trip. Habe ich eine Klassenfahrt. Now, you could say gemacht. You could say mit meiner Klasse, mit meiner Schule. But I'm just going to say where I went. I'm going to pretend that I went to Berlin. Okay, nach Berlin gemacht. Now, particularly higher tier pupils should really be saying why. So I'm going to say why using Now I've got to remember that with I needed zu before my infinitive. So I wanted to learn more about German culture, über die deutsche Kultur. I'm not going to fit this in, am I? Deutsche Kultur. In order to learn, there's my zu and my lernen in an infinitive there. So last summer I did a class trip to Berlin in order to learn more about the culture. So that's about 17 or 18 words, I could actually probably start my second bullet point, and I will just have to put a bit more detail into it. So what you thought of the class trip and why. So I'm going to use a summarising statement. So I'm going to use im Großen und im Ganzen. It was great fun. Hat es viel Spaß gemacht. Okay, so I have said how I have found it and why. And of course my why is probably going to have a vowel or a den in it, but I'm going to use a vowel. And I am going to say because it was an amazing experience. So weil, I've got to put my verb at the end, so I can't put is next, it's going to have to go at the end. Weil es actually an unforgettable, in fact before, an especially unforgettable. Let's put another adverb in, let's make my sentences a bit longer. Germans like that. Weil es ein besonders unvergessliches Erlebnis war. Okay, so weil es ein besonders unvergessliches Erlebnis war. So war at the end of that sentence. And I think I need to give a bit more detail on why it was a special or unforgettable experience. I think I'm actually going to put a future tense in here. and I'm going to say on the last day, actually that's my past tense first of all, am letzten Tag, we saw the Brandenburg Gate, yeah, or we visited the sites, haben wir, I want to use some really impressive vocabulary here. Actually, I'll just say the breathtaking, das atemberaubende Brandenburger Tor gesehen. Brandenburger Tor gesehen. So I saw the breathtaking Brandenburg Gate. And here's my future tense. And I will never forget it. Und ich werde es. Und ich werde es. Very good. S. Oh dear. Es nie vergessen. So, and I will never forget it. In fact, I would really recommend it. And this is only because I'm trying to put some more tenses in. Und ich würde es empfehlen, and I would recommend it. Okay, so what was the next bullet point? Now, I would always encourage you to write 4 paragraphs. I have not indicated when my first idea or paragraph ended. You should, if possible. We think it makes it easier for the examiner to read. Okay, third bullet point is why class trips are fun. Just pulled up the last 2 bullet points. So why class trips are fun. So again, as I said earlier, use some of the vocabulary that you need from the actual instruction if you want, if you need it. So I'm going to put an opinion word in first. I'm going to say meiner Meinung nach. Now, after meiner Meinung nach, you have to use the verb. So I've got up here, I've got warum Klassenfahrten Spaß machen. So my verb is machen, and then I can put the rest. Meiner Meinung nach machen Klassenfahrten Spaß. Fahrten Spaß. Because we can spend time together. Weil... how about because you do not have to learn in the school, okay? Meiner Meinung nach machen Klassenfahrten Spaß, weil man muss... Oh no, I can't put muss here. It's going to have to go at the end of my sentence because I've used weil. In fact, I'm going to cross weil out. I'm going to use da because I've already used weil. Meiner Meinung nach machen Klassenfahrten Spaß, weil da man... You don't have to learn in the school. Nicht in der Schule lernen muss. Nicht in der Schule lernen muss. And I probably need a few more words. So I'm going to say additionally. I'm going to use noch dazu. What else could I say? Noch dazu. So I'm thinking more of a foundation type of answer. Kann man mehr? You can learn more. Okay. Which I find good. I love this structure. Was ich gut finde. Okay. Final bullet point is your plans for the next school trip. So I know straight away that I'm going into future tense, and I'm going to follow the model that I've done in class, and I'm going to choose a time phrase. So next December, I will go. What about starting with I have lots of plans for the next class trip. Ich habe viele Pläne, because that's the way we start, isn't it? Für die nächste Klassenfahrt. And then I'm going to do what we've been doing in class. And I'll just move that up a little bit just to make a bit more space. Ich habe viele Pläne für die nächste Klassenfahrt. So next December, I'm going to actually go to Gambia. No, I'm not. I can't remember what Gambia is in German, so I'm going to write I'm going to go to Africa. So nächstes Jahr werde ich mit meiner Schule nach Afrika fahren. Spelling of Africa hasn't worked out well with that pen. Afrika fahren to help the children. Den Kindern zu helfen, but you could say but to learn more about the culture, or have we done that? We have, but that kind of thing, and I am really looking forward to it. Und ich freue mich sehr darauf. Und ich freue mich sehr darauf. I'd say this is a 20-minute task, possibly at foundation a 25-minute task, and you should plan approximately that amount of time for it. You must go back and check that you've written in paragraphs. If you've forgotten the paragraphs, like I did, put 2 lines down so they know where your ideas are, and check your tenses, your spellings, your capital letters.